What's crappin'? Stop yapping and build some shit. I am Cordell Rufus III. I wanted to do a quick update on the third gen Camaro 9 million horsepower build. We got the car back after about 8 months of waiting from the paint shop, and they did like the worst job I could have imagined. They didn't even assemble the car. First off, they didn't assemble the car beforehand. They just took all the parts, sprayed them, and then tried to put them back together, and nothing fit to where they didn't even bother trying to put most of the car back together. They just literally gave it to me in pieces. I mean, even the front bumper where the hood goes, like there was so much extra material here, the hood wouldn't even shut when I picked it up. So all this stuff is gonna have to get repainted, at least touched up. They had the door extensions literally on upside down and on the wrong doors. Just stupid little stuff that's like, come on, man. You guys didn't even try. But I got the car mostly at least together, and the front end, we finished doing all the welding on the chromoly front end. So all that, I sprayed that in. So that's all been painted. So now the car is actually together finally. So I set all the gaps, got everything fitted before. I tore the whole front end back off the car, sprayed the front chromoly cage area, then put the car back together, and hopefully it doesn't have to come back apart. And since then, I've been doing a bunch of little things, just a ton of little stuff. I know you guys know, like the last 10% of the build takes 90% of the time. But basically got everything fitted right. The hood actually shuts now and lines up. Some of the stuff they did okay, but even like the hood, there's literally dents in the hood right here that they never got. I don't know if you can see, but there's a dent in the roof, in the center of the roof. But whatever. I also put, so we did run, I'm running a kicker speaker in each side of the dash, so I'll at least have that and the stereo. And then we've been working with this S&W Race Cars 10-point roll cage, and we've got it in there, tacked in there pretty much where it's gonna live. Well, not pretty much where it's gonna live, but where it's gonna live. That's just the headliner sitting on the rear hatch. And I mean, the kit was okay, but honestly, like, SW said they don't have any photos or diagrams of how it's supposed to go together. So I couldn't figure out where the front pillar bars were supposed to land on the floor. And so it was a total clusterfuck. And then on top of that, when they ship out their cages, they just bundle them together with tape and put a label on it. So they're not in a box. So the worst part about this cage, other than having to basically fit everything, because even the pre-cut tubes, some of them were like 8 inches too long. The worst part was having to get all of the tape and glue off of all of the tubes before you could even put them in the car, because they're all going to need to be prepped for paint. So you have to do it now. And there was just packing tape and packing tape glue on all the tubes. Like, I ended up having to grind most of it off of the Scotch-Brite wheel, and then after that go back with acetone and Scotch-Brite and scrub everything off. It was just a huge kind of pain in the ass for what I thought would be, a high quality, for lack of better word, plug and play 10-point cage. But we made it work. The only thing that I really don't like about how the cage is built is that this pillar bar comes way out into the driver field of view, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's not bad when you see it in person, and with the windshield in, it'll look a lot less intrusive, but it's still friggin' weird. I don't know why they did that. Even trying to talk to the engineers, the way that they wanted you to put the tubes in, because this is an around the dash tube, the angle is so tight on the tube that it actually comes straight out of the roof. The only way you can even get that angle even close to intersecting with this front radius of the roof hoop is to put the bottom of it up in the kick well, like where the dead pedal is. Which obviously, I don't know, man. And the worst part about it was just that they don't have any pictures or anything they could send me. The diagram that they sent me was just like a basic print, and it wasn't even this cage. So it didn't really help me out much. But so anyway, we got it pretty much in there. Everything's gonna work really well. I have the full interior for this car, so we have all the brand new carpets and everything. And I already test fit all the interior, and I went through and dyed all that stuff with a satin black finish, so it all looks perfect. And this car is gonna look a million times better once it has the interior in it. And the headliners, all the ABS headliner kit from Classic Industries. These are eBay seats that tilt, and they're friggin' rad. They're actually a lot better than I thought. And so I'm running just normal aftermarket seat brackets and running the aftermarket seats. And then what turned out really good was I restored the whole center console. So I just basically took a piece of plastic and plugged that. So that looks nice now. We added a Kenwood head unit, which I already wired into the car. And then restored the whole center console. And then got brand new switches. So all this will look great. And there was a hole here for some reason. So I just made it bigger and added a USB charger. So I'll wire that in. And then I think what we're going to do, so I'm getting a Speedmaster 4-speed auto shifter. I think I'm going to have my brother 3D print a plate to go over this, and it'll pick up the shifter. So it'll still look nice in factory. Maybe 2 little cup holders up here. I don't know. You know, who knows? We might go crazy with it. But we're still waiting on engine parts. Most of the big stuff is fitted. And we did I added quite a few tabs in the engine bay. Hold on, I need 2 hands to open the hood. So we added a tab under the fender up there, another tab under the fender up there, and then we added some tabs down here on the bottom. And that's to run a crossbar to pick up the water to air intercooler. Then the upper bar will run straight across, and that will pick up the headers. So that way we can get the weight of the turbochargers off of the headers. And also that tube will help stiffen up the front end, and I'll triangulate it back to the shock towers. So I'll probably end up running a triangulation right there and letting it pick up the shock tower brace on both sides, because these tend to flex over time. So if we do decide to do some level of road racing, I mean, the car is going to be street driven. So, I mean, just the harmonics of that thing constantly flexing, driving the car is going to cause cracks down in the bottom, which we do not want. So we want to stiffen up the front as much as we can and tie those shock towers back into the front framing. So we're going to do that. And then, but everything else is looking, it's getting there. I have a friend of the family who's going to come by, take a look at the car. He does paint and body work also, and he's going to hopefully be able to do the touch-ups. And then I'm deciding whether, because we have to go in here and paint all this stuff anyway, and most of the front bumper is going to have to get repainted anyway. I mean, there's chunks missing out of it. That I might just go with the black headlights, but I don't know. Kind of like the blue headlights. Everybody has the black headlight buckets, but I don't know. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. We'll keep you guys updated. I'll try to do some more videos. It's just with how much work I needed to do on the car when I originally got it back from paint, I didn't want to film a bunch of stuff. But from now on, we'll probably do a little bit more filming and get everything dialed in, especially when it comes time to put the LY6 6-liter together. Pretty cool.